What's up, YouTube? What's going on? So this video gonna be about Maurice Cheeks versus Tony Parker, battle of point guards. You know, it's funny how when you go look these things up of how they compare to one another. Now, Parker had him beat as far as career total points, but rebounds and steals is Maurice Cheeks. It's interesting. Their numbers aren't that far off from one another. Now, Parker played 3 more years. Cheeks was the better defender. Parker scored more. But when you get down to the totality of everything else, All-Star games were fairly close. It's interesting when I do this little parable about how this obviously 4-1 in terms of winning chips. Parker went to 5. Cheeks went to about 3 or 4. So, and it was a different era with the 2 out of 3, and the whole thing's changed from the eras. But when I look at their totality, they are pretty close. They're not, sometimes when you look at certain things, you thinking that this is blowout, this is one-sided affair. It's not. It's not really that one-sided. I find it ironically because I'm looking at them because they both played with great perimeter players or guys that were, they play. Parker got to play with Robinson and Duncan. And, of course, Maurice Cheeks got to play with Dr. J and Moses Malone. So it's interesting when you size that up. But when I look at it in totality, it's interesting when I look at it because then I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm looking at the numbers crunch. Who was the better player? Who was the more intriguing player? It's, aside from career total points and the postseason points, but everything else statistically is almost a wash. And you might not think about it when you think about Maurice Cheeks because the way he was with pumping the ball and how he's moved around. Because Parker came from an era where the point guard got to score a little bit more with the 3 ball. Obviously now if you play point and you're a tweener, you do more. But at that time, it wasn't the case. But it's a different hit right now. So looking at that, that it's an interesting debate and argument where we come down with it. So I'm like, oh wow, this is it's interesting. I don't even think about it like that until I see it, and then I'm thinking, wow, this is an interesting hit. This really has a distinctive flavor for where it's like, how do you base this? Where do we go with this? I mean, how do we, because now the eyeball test is what you're going to ask me because I got to see both of them. I thought Tony Parker's teardrop shot was one of the coldest shots ever. But I like the way Mo Cheeks would used to push the ball and how he handled. But if you ask me who I got the most out of, I thought Tony Parker was more, I had to give him the edge athletically, but I like the way Maurice Cheeks played point guard better. So if that makes any sense. So it's kind of interesting. And I don't never know where they rank all time for certain point guards or how people look at it in totality. I think Parker would get the edge, but I think Maurice Cheeks was for his era and his time. And if he got to play in a more less hand check ball motion era, I think it would have been more higher for him. But anyway, let me know what you think. Maurice Cheeks versus Tony Parker. Who had the better NBA career? And when you look at the stats up, it's not a lot separating despite the fact Parker played 3 more years. There's some things they're very close with, and Cheeks got him beat on some categories. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like, and hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.